parking. National bank card, so many benefits. Oh yeah, the choice is yours. Just come and embrace it. Live your life your way. With purchases big or small. Mango, nuts, fruit and all. You can spend it when you want it. How you like, where you like. Swipe your card, live your life. National bank life is nice.
Good morning, and I'm hoping everybody is well. Of course, you know you're listening to ZIZ Radio. I'm Eboni Brandon. This morning, privileged as always to sit in for Devon Cornelius, who is out in the field taking care of some business this morning. We wish him well. This morning, I have in studio with me, and very happy to be with, because I haven't interviewed him in years, Dr. Marcus Natta. Although he wears many hats, this morning he is sitting with me in his capacity as co-chair of the National Independence Committee. And we're going to talk about independence, which comes up in just a few short weeks. Many activities to be had, a full calendar put out this year, a very exciting and interesting one. And so I'm looking forward deeply to this conversation. And we're looking forward to perhaps later on, if you have any questions that you'd like to have, any comments, any suggestions or concerns, because concerns are always welcomed. Constructive criticism is how we grow, yes? So we are inviting you to make those calls a bit later on by calling 465-1977. You can call 465-1903 or 662-8674. Dr. Natta, welcome to ZIZ. Certainly no stranger here.
Yes, thank you so much, Ebony, and good morning, well, good afternoon, good evening. I know ZIZ is global, so
all over the world.
Anyone who is listening, thank you for having me for sure.
So you've had a lot of work along with your co-chairing along with yourself, Vera Galloway, been very busy with your committee and a very full calendar of activities you've put out. Before we even get into some of the activities, tell us about the theme of independence this year and why this year in particular that theme was so important to you.
Well, each year we do a competition, an open competition, not just for persons here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but it's last year we had somebody who won who resides in Curacao, but they're national, right? And so we open it to all citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And the winner of that competition, after we sifted through just over 200 entries, was Miss Dinala Laplace. And her winning theme is Perpetual Progress, a Sustainable Future in View, Independence 42. And I think that really encapsulates kind of where we are going. I think even the vision of the government, the Prime Minister, we often talk about our sustainable island state, and I'm sure I'll mention a little bit more about that as we go along. And so I think it really encapsulates where we want to see St. Kitts and Nevis go. And the word perpetual, it means continuous. So I think that's what, without trying to get into the mind of Miss Laplace, I think that's what she really was trying to engender when she put this theme out, to ingrain in us that we have to continually, perpetually try to progress as a nation. Certainly
she was paying attention, because I know at least in the last year or so, the government has been really promoting and pushing this powering progress, national progress, sustainable progress. Yes. And so it sort of plays into that, as you said as well.
Exactly.
Now, talk to me a little bit now about the activities that you have planned and how they fit into supporting not just the theme, but the government's vision for national growth and St. Kitts and Nevis moving into the future.
Of course. The calendar is always packed with various activities, some led by our committee and the government by extension, but also we encourage fringe events, private events to also complement what we have planned. Just yesterday, in fact, we kicked off part of our calendar with Conversations, which is a sort of podcast series that we started the year of our 40th anniversary. And it has grown tremendously in terms of viewership, listenership, and persons always look forward to it. So we kicked it off yesterday with the first episode on From Farm to Fork, discussing food security and so on. And so that we have 4 episodes this year. So 3 more to go. But then we do get into a lot of different activities, but just to highlight maybe the key ones that persons are more affair with. Of course, before independence, we also celebrate our national heroes. And prior to that, this in its 27th year is the Prime Minister's lecture series. So that's a big event that will be coming up, and I'm sure we'll jump into that a little later in the conversation. And then for Heroes Day, there's a myriad of activities. There are 2 ceremonies where we honor our national heroes, including our first national hero, the Right Excellent, Sir Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, down in St. Paul's. We have a ceremony there as well. And of course, on Independence Day, we have the Independence Ceremonial Parade. And so can I maybe break a first set of news?
Absolutely.
Sure?
We like firsts, of course.
So there's a first. So our Independence Ceremonial Parade this year will be in the evening. Traditionally, we have had the ceremony in the morning at 8 a.m. This year, the Independence Ceremonial Parade will be at Warner Park Cricket Stadium starting at 6 p.m. in the evening. And so we look forward to persons coming out and being a part of that as usual.
Can I ask if the time shift had anything to do with perhaps encouraging more persons to come out and attend as opposed to,
Well, now you see you're going to get me into
cooler.
trouble discussing that because, they're the traditionalists.
Right.
Even like myself, my father was a military man, so he took me all the time to the parade. So in my mind, it always should be in the morning. But really, it is really an effect of what we see happening with climate change. Last year and in previous years, it has been extremely hot. And you would think 8 o'clock in the morning, it's fine. And we have young children on parade. We have adults as well. And, persons faint, from excessive heat and so on. Last year was oppressively hot. There was no wind or anything like that. Hopefully that's an anomaly. But we really felt that we have to, unfortunately or fortunately, we have to evolve a little bit. And in the evenings ought to be a little cooler. And so we decided in the sense of health and safety for persons involved in the parade to move it to the evening.
And that's an important consideration. We're talking about our people, and so we need people to have a sustainable future.
Yes.
So we need to take care of them in all aspects. So that's not a negative, in my opinion. I want to talk a little bit about the conversation series.
Sure.
So because I enjoy these sorts of forums, and as I'm quite sure the people that they turn out, they want to hear what's taking place. Who are some of the featured speakers across the series that we can expect to hear from this year?
Yes, so we do have, like I said, we started yesterday,
Yes.
and it was brilliant. I mean, not to be biased as the co-chair of Independence, but it was really, really a good conversation. We always talk about food security. So we had the Director of Agriculture from Nevis, Mr. Randy Elliott. We had Mr. Ian Chapman, who leads the crops division for our Ministry of Agriculture here on St. Kitts. And then we had a farmer educator and a very prominent and long-standing farmer, Mr. Winston Morris. And they had an excellent conversation. And it's hosted this year, I forgot to say, our Conversations episodes will be hosted by Miss Tony Frederick Armstrong, and who did an excellent job yesterday. But going forward, each Wednesday at 1 p.m., conversations will be aired live and then subsequently rebroadcasted on various stations here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Next week, we hope to have a member from the Citizenship by Investment Unit, as well as the president of the Returning Nationals and Descendants Association, and also joining them are representatives from our Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit. Their topic will be looking at the role that our global citizens can play, meaning the persons in the diaspora. They'll be delving a little bit into how can we involve them some more, because it's seen as more so of a one-way relationship where they, especially our economic citizens, they get citizenship, but what do we get back in return? And many of them would like to give back. Maybe they don't know how. Many of our nationals in the diaspora would love to give back of their talents, skills, etc. They don't know how. So how can we look at that and discuss their roles? And then we have some persons who will come in to discuss tourism, more so from the standpoint of how do we redefine our tourism product. We are already started with our venture deeper, so we're going beyond just the beaches and so on, and actually getting into the country and understanding the culture of food, etc. So we hope to have some persons from Ministry of Tourism, hopefully maybe the PS or someone from the Tourism Authority. We want to involve Nevis Tourism Authority and have the CEO come over, and then maybe one of our tour operators, somebody who is connecting face-to-face with our visitors. And then in the final episode, we want to zone in on how we are dealing with ending violence and using a public health perspective. And I know that's a popular one. The Prime Minister has been leading on dealing with crime from a public health perspective, and so we hope to have persons from the Citizen Security Secretariat like Eartha Carey, Mr. Hans Richards come in. And we want to also, and we hope we can get this achieved, we're really working on it right now, having a person who was in the prison system and as an ex-prisoner who has come out and who can give their perspective as well on this topic.
Fantastic. Now, you did mention it's taken a podcast format.
Yes.
And it's going to be rebroadcasted, but how do we access the podcast itself?
Well, okay, so that I think maybe is through ZIZ and through SKNIS.
Okay.
Right? That persons can do that. It will air live every Wednesday at 1 p.m.
So we probably just tap into ZIZ, or we tap
all
into
the
SKNIS, social media.
Even on our St. Kitts and Nevis Independent social media Facebook page, persons can view it there as
Fantastic. And then look forward to the live broadcast. Now, last year, the Prime Minister's lecture series was fantastic.
Yes.
And that's another highlight to me of some of the independence activities. Who is it this year that we're looking forward to seeing as part of the lecture?
Breaking news number 2. So this year, we are happy to welcome a daughter of the soil back to St. Kitts and Nevis to give the Prime Minister's lecture, and that person will be Miss Willa Libert Tavernier. And she is a past state scholar. She is a prominent attorney at law and now heads up a division at the Indiana University in Indianapolis, in Bloomington, Indiana, where she's a scholarly librarian and dealing with open access. So we're really looking forward to her presentation this year. It will be held at the ECCB Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 9th. And as you said, it's really a highlight of our independence celebrations, and so we really look forward to her lecture this year.
And of course, everybody looks forward to the colors, wearing their colors on each day. So what are the days this year that we're looking forward to wearing our colors?
Okay, so our flag has 5 colors, and it's not often that you can have 5 Fridays, 5 Saturdays in a month, right? And so we do the national colors each Friday during September, but we have to start this year from Friday 29th August because there are only 4 Fridays in September. So the first color would be green. Green is always on top. Everybody knows that in our flag. you have to make sure that you hold the flag so that the green is on top. So we always start with green. So on Friday 29th, we ask everyone to wear that color green. And then Friday, September 5th will be red. Friday the 12th will be yellow. Friday 19th, which is, again, Independence Day, you're asked to wear white. And then the final Friday would be a black, which is the 26th of September.
And something else to look forward to is the Patriotic Day wear. So separate from the flag colors, we also have the Patriotic Day wear.
Yes. So the day before Independence, we always have that as our National Patriotic Day, where we ask you to wear your national colors, wear your flag, put your flags on your vehicles, everything. By then, you're probably already decorated your office spaces and so on, but on that day we just want to see everybody in the national colors. We do hope to have, again, our Patriotic Day Fair in Independence Square, where persons can come and just have a good time, eat, drink, listen to wonderful music and so on. So we really want to encourage persons on Thursday the 18th to come out in their national colors.
And that's fantastic. What do we have in store for Heroes Day itself this year?
Okay, so National Heroes Day is always packed with activities. I mean, to me, even more so than the Independence Day itself, which is quite interesting. So this year, for the observances for National Heroes Day, we have our traditional Heroes Day ceremony at the National Heroes Park in Connery at 8 a.m. And then in the afternoon, we do a wreath laying ceremony down in St. Paul's at the Sir Robert Llewellyn Bratcher Memorial Park, where we honor our national heroes, and specifically our first national hero. But in the midst of all of that, there are also some community flag raising ceremonies that go on that day. A lot of the primary schools, and I think high schools as well, do have flag poles, and they usually go there. You'll have the cadets, maybe Boy Scouts and other community groups that get involved in raising the flag on that day to recognize those persons. And like I said in the beginning, it's not just our Independence Committee or the government doing activities. There are also some private activities, and we have a private activity which should be very interesting, which is Legacy of the Nation. And this is being done by the St. Christopher National Trust. And that will be at the National Heroes Park as well. And so I believe, and that will be later in the day, that would be a good one for persons to go out and learn a little bit more about our national heroes. We know their names, and maybe some of the older ones know a lot about them. But for the younger persons, it would be really good to go out there and get some information. And then on Nevis, also there will be some events on Nevis, including, I think it's a fish fiesta, they're calling it, in collaboration with the government and Ministry of Tourism and Jessup's management team. So persons on Nevis can look forward to that as well. And I know on Nevis they also do something, because Sir Simeon Daniel, who is our fifth national hero, is from Nevis, was from Nevis, and so they observe and recognize him over there as well.
We have to always give thanks and worship, and so there's a gospel concert as well as planned as part of the activities this year. Yes. When is that going to be?
So on September the 14th, which is the Sunday before, so the Sunday before Independence, we always, give thanks. And that event has really morphed over the years. So it's a church service, but we've also added a component of having a gospel concert. And that will be held at the Zion Moravian Church this year on Victoria Road, Bastia. So we do look forward to that. So we do have the traditional form of the service, yes, but immediately following the service, we have a gospel concert which persons really do enjoy over the years, and we have some fantastic local gospel artists, so persons will have a wonderful time in praise and worship.
Fantastic. And what about Independence Day itself? Any special surprises or anything?
Well, I gave you one already. But you have to come to the Independence Ceremonial Parade, 6 p.m. on Independence Day, to see the little surprises that we will have. Our military, our It's usually led. The ceremonial parade is led by the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force, and they have some nice little surprises. I think that they're gonna have for the patrons who come and celebrate independence and view the parade. So a person should come out.
So it's a be there or be square.
Yeah,
event.
be there, so you can say you were there and you saw it yourself.
Now I gotta ask you, because I have you with me, and because it happened during the independence lead up to last year, Aspire.
Yes.
How is Aspire going? Especially almost now a year in from the official launch of it in 2024. What's the response been like? What are your projections for the future based on the response that you've had?
Yes. Well, the response has been tremendous. Okay. Our estimation was that we had about 9,000 to 10,000 eligible students. Of course, the Aspire program, just for full disclosure, the Aspire program is geared towards students ages 5 to 18 years. And it's a program where we want to financially empower and educate our young people in terms of saving, budgeting, investing. And so what the government has done is each eligible child will get a $500 cash savings account at National Bank and $500 towards investments in shares with the National Bank as well as the cable. And then on top of that, which is the third component, which is the most important, is we have embedded and we will embed our financial education curriculum into our educational institutions from primary school right through to CFBC and Nevis Sixth Form College. Now, so far, in terms of numbers, we have had well over 5,000 applicants. Every day we get new applications. We have over 4,100 accounts that have already been set up. And just for that discrepancy in the numbers, just to explain, some persons who applied may have been denied because they don't meet the eligibility criteria, and that mostly is because they're not citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and so you have to be a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. And then we do have another little gap where persons may have started an application, didn't complete it, or they completed one but missing some information or have some incorrect information. So when you sift out all of that, really we are much closer to our number than further away, like I said, about 9,000 to 10,000 students. So it's going quite well. Our Aspire Task Force, which I'm privileged to lead as well, is doing a lot. And in the coming year, we want to go out into the communities, sort of a caravan, and do some pop-ups in the communities and really go to them and help them. But I just want to encourage parents in particular, and guardians to sign up their children if they have not done so, and that the cable has been gracious enough to open their offices. So during the normal working hours of the cable, you can go to their main office and persons are there who can assist you with signing up.
I just need to ask this question as well. There was a little bit of a concern for those children who were closer to 18 than not.
Yes.
Because of when the program was going to be introduced. So if you can provide some information on how they specifically, perhaps you were 17 years old, 17 and a half or something like that at the time of application, what carve-out is there for those children?
Yes. When the Prime Minister made the announcement, it was in December 2023. Last year, we officially launched Aspire on September 14th, 13th, thereabout, at our National Youth Rally. But the Prime Minister has said and mandated that once you were 18 and under, at the time of his announcement, which is December 2023, that you are eligible. And that's what we have been going by. So if you turned 18 already when the official launch happened last year, it does not make you ineligible, right? You have to go back to December 2023. And so we have that carve out for persons, and we have seen that already. And just as a note as well, persons have to be on the program for a minimum of 5 years. So those persons who were 17, they can't exit the program at 18. First of all, they don't get much benefit financially or education-wise. So we would want to get them to be on the program for about 5 years so that they can get some interest on the account and the investments and so on.
Fantastic. And speaking of educating and informing our children so that we can have a more financially sound country moving forward, that our economy can be stronger as a result of better educated people, not just education, because be surprised, so many people are bright as a whip, but they don't understand money. They don't understand how to spend, to save, to budget even. What about those other people in the community, perhaps, who are out there making their own contributions and we don't necessarily recognize them day to day? What are we doing to ensure that we reach everybody at all level and to make sure that we're showing appreciation for those people in our community who make significant contributions to the progress of the country?
Yeah, that's something that we've seriously been looking at. So, for example, we have a National Honors Act, which we are currently looking to review and revise. Now, that National Honors Act has 3 tiers. The Order of the National Hero, which we all know about. We have the Companion of the Star of Merit and the Medal of Honor in order of significance in that regard. And we feel that may be a bit limiting to your question. I know in Nevis they have an Unsung Heroes Award ceremony that they do, and they'll be doing that this year as well. So I think even in Nevis they're thinking like that as we are over here as well. And so on a national scale, we want to review that and see how we can have categories that would recognize those unsung sort of heroes in our communities and really show them the recognition that they deserve.
Because so we all know them, somebody who is helping children get to school, feeding somebody who...
Of course.
But they don't necessarily get that recognition, and that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and on a national level, I think persons may get that recognition. Maybe their church recognizes them, or some community group recognizes them. But some of these things that persons are doing have a real national impact, and so we would really want to like you say, make sure we have a space and a tier or tiers for them to be awarded on a national scale and be recognized nationally. So we really want to work on that and have that ready, hopefully, for next year's.
Fantastic. Yeah, the question I would really want to ask you, as we go forward, one of the things that sort of concerns me is that we become very patriotic, very in tune to our culture, heritage, national pride at independence time.
Yes.
And then after independence is over, it wanes. It might pick up a little bit about carnival time again.
Yes.
But then it wanes. As head of the, co-chair of the Independence Committee, what are we looking at to do to ensure that this is sustained throughout the year, that this pride, this national pride and patriotism remains alive with our people?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think there are moments all throughout the year where you see our patriotism rise, right? When a national citizen performs well at Carifta, or we perform at the world stage, or we have an artist like Byron Messiah, touring and achieving great heights in music and so on. It jumps out at you then. I don't know how much we can do per se, maybe as a government, except to continue, like I said, even with the Sustainable Island State Agenda, to continue to show the public what we want to do, to welcome them, to make them feel like they're not at the periphery of what we are doing, but they're really at the center, and to show that they need to participate in our national building. And so while for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, maybe not everyone flies the flag on their car all the time or has a flagpole in their yard, I think we're very patriotic people. It just materializes, I think, at specific moments, and we would want to see it maybe a lot more consistently. But you just bet your life you better don't say anything negative about a Kittitian or any vision on social media anyway, because everybody will come for you.
For sure.
And that's where the patriotism really stands out. But I think we're very patriotic people. We just need to maybe display it a little bit more.
I agree with you on that one. Can't go wrong there. Talk to me more about the Sustainable Island State Agenda.
Yes.
As in your capacity as Cabinet Secretary, you're very involved in fulfilling that agenda and ensuring that the mandate given to the Cabinet and to the government as a whole, as a broad entity, is executed. Tell me how you feel in your official capacity about this Sustainable Island State Agenda, whether or not you think the public is buying into it, especially in the context of the upcoming independence celebrations and the direction we're hoping to move in.
Yeah. The public is buying into it. The public is buying into it. I believe initially it was sort of a buzzword that maybe people, or buzz phrase, that maybe people didn't get, why they keep mentioning this word sustainable. People may be tired of hearing the word sustainable. But in life, repetition is important, right?
That's what makes it stick.
That's what makes it stick, whether it's negative or positive. And this is a very positive thing. But just look at climate change. Climate change and its effects are an existential threat for us. It just is. We just dodged a hurricane just dodged us, maybe, right? Because we can't move the hurricane.
Right, we got lucky.
So it dodged us, right? And so we are blessed and thankful for that. But even if we just look at the frequency of storms and these sort of things and the effects of climate change, it's an existential threat. So what do we do? Do we complain and say, well, all these huge countries that are industrialized and are polluting the waters or the air are causing this, and we just lay back and just, as we say here, abuse? Or do we do something to try to adapt and mitigate against the negative effects of, for example, climate change? And so that's what the Sustainable Island State Agenda is. It's that we are under threat from our climate, economically, as we just saw, we are feeling right now with wars in countries that are far from us but have significant impacts on our food costs, our housing costs, because we can't get in materials at the cost we used to before, and all of these external factors that impinge upon us. So the Sustainable Island State Agenda is our mechanism, our tool to combat all of these external threats that we have. So looking at our energy transition, anytime the lights go out here in St. Kitts and Nevis, people are alarmed and they make noise and so on and so on and so on. It's much worse in a lot of other countries, but that's not the point. This is our context.
This is where we are.
We want our current to be on, all right? And so that's why we're looking at energy transition as one of the pillars on the Sustainable Island State Agenda, whether it's solar or renewable geothermal, which has made significant progress and so on. So it's not really a buzz phrase anymore. We have water. Now we have to do desalination. When I was growing up, we used to run the water, just running water. We never had any problems. It's hot right now. We turn on the pipe and we splash and we play and things like that. And yes, we got on the bear, but that's a different type of water. But now rain isn't falling as it is, as it used to. We have a lot more development, a lot more houses and commercial properties, so that's more faucets, more showers, more toilets, but less rain. And so, for example, when persons argue that, well, let's capture, when the rain falls, why don't we capture all the rain? And we see the guts running, why don't we capture that water? And so on. The Sustainable Island State Agenda speaks to how we want people to change that mindset. Because on the water example, if we collect every single drop of water that falls on a given day when it rains, we collect all of it, but it doesn't rain again for a week. And we have all these storage tanks that are now empty and you don't have water. What do you say then? Mm-hmm. And so we can't manufacture rain, but through desal, we are able to remove the salt from the water and make it potable and fresh for us to drink. And so those are the things that the Sustainable Island State Agenda, yes, it's about those infrastructural things, but it's also trying to get our mindset around the fact that we have to adapt so that we can continue to exist because of these external factors that are impinging upon us.
And change isn't always easy, but it's necessary. It's a part of life
Yes,
if we
yes.
want to continue to survive.
Correct.
Isn't
correct.
it? And that goes to our agriculture as well.
Correct.
One of the major issues that we've had, and we recognized it, I think, most acutely during COVID, is the fact that we really can't feed ourselves as we should be able to. And so how does that play into the Sustainable Island State agenda? I certainly know that during the independence celebrations, there's a carve-out specifically for agriculture.
Yes.
But in your broader capacities, what are we doing about agriculture?
Well, conversations yesterday, they delved a lot into that, right? So I'll have persons go back and view and listen to conversations, because the experts, I'm not an expert, but the experts spoke about that. What I would say about food security in this agriculture in this regard is that we have a lot of potential. I know sometimes we don't think we do. I think we have a lot of potential. We are only 68 square miles and Nevis is 36. There are people who have farms that are larger than both of our islands combined, I can tell you that. And so we do have the potential to feed ourselves. But while that argument is always made, we have to understand that persons have choices. So, for example, we have a national cost of living task force that I'm a part of as well. And we put out some infographics recently where we sought to share and compare certain brands versus alternatives. And, you get some positive feedback, you get some negative feedback. But I share that because it's all about choices. It's all about choices. So while we can feed ourselves and we have fishing and we have agriculture, it's not everybody who is going to want to eat fish every day or ground provisions every day. And we do some agro-processing, but we don't manufacture, for example, pastas and we don't grow rice and these sort of things. And so it's still about choices, because let's say we were really self-sufficient, we have enough food to feed everybody, but you don't want to eat potatoes. I don't want to eat, let's say we were even making pastas. I don't want to eat pastas. Then what do? There's no way you can manufacture every single thing everybody wants. So I think when we talk about food security, we are talking about how can we provide enough so that we don't have to have such a high import bill. But again, it's choices. So people import what we tend to go for, because if a supermarket puts out products and they realize, man, at the end of the month, all these products still on the shelf and only a particular product they're going to ramp up their imports of that product. So I think our food choices and so on has sort of impacted on the food security. So it's not that we can't grow things, but it's not everybody that's going to eat everything that is grown. So it's a delicate balance. And yesterday on Conversations, they spoke a lot about that, how we balance growing the food, yes, and combating climate change and other things. But then how do we look at market access, what the market actually wants, and then what we don't want and have enough of, how can we export that to another market that needs it? So I think it's a bit of a complex issue, but I believe we could do a lot better there. But we as the consumers have to make certain choices, and our little campaign about smart spend SKN has garnered a little noise here and there, but it's really about choices, and the government will never tell you what to choose. We tell you the options, right. We tell you the alternatives, but it's up to you to choose the foods or the items or products that you want to consume and buy.
And I know when we have the conversation about sustainability as a regional issue now, there have been conversations within CARICOM about making purchases of certain items manufactured within CARICOM,
yes,
between the islands, and making them accessible and affordable, yes, so that perhaps we don't have to look to North America and Europe
right.
as markets for these
Yes,
things.
and the CARICOM products are cheaper, but again, our people don't necessarily want those products. They could be the same quality, they might taste better, be more nutritionally healthy for you, But again, it's choice, and like I said, we can't necessarily force you, but we just ask people to be, wiser maybe with your choices, as a lot of costs have gone up for foods, but the regional products are quite good and tested just like other products from overseas, and so it's up to them to make the right choices.
And I kind of want to dabble into your past, because you've shifted away from that doing this now, but we spoke about agro-processing, and a big part of that is making sure that you meet the standards.
Correct.
That would give consumers confidence to purchase your goods. Where are we in terms of those persons who are involved in local manufacturing on some level, jams or whatever it is, are they accessing what is available at the Bureau of Standards to ensure that they meet that, so that when I as a consumer come and purchase Marcus's famous grape jelly or guava jam, that I am, this is the nutritional value, it has gone through certain testing, that it's safe for me to eat? So in my former life, I did work at the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards, and they've done a lot of work. I see their social media posts all the time with the labeling requirements, all of the various standards that persons can come and get and purchase and use in their agro-processing. I really don't have a figure as to a sense of maybe how much they're uptaking these things, but the Bureau of Standards does have the capability to assist persons, especially in agro-processing, like you said, looking at the content, nutritional content, and helping them with labeling. Labeling is a big part of things. Persons do a lot of things here, like the local juices, for example, that persons sell. You don't know when it was made, you don't know how sweet it is until you taste it and you say, oh boy, this one's sweet, and so the Bureau of Standards is where persons really ought to go to get that guidance, so that you can get your products to be consistent, especially when it's things that persons have to consume, eat or drink, that you can have a nice consistency, a nice quality to your product, and persons can really be assured that what they're consuming is healthy for them, and the quality is good, it tastes good, and all of that. So I mean, just a plug and an ad for persons who are looking at agro-processing to visit the Bureau of Standards. There's an agro-processing association or cooperative, I believe, still in existence, and so they do work with the Bureau of Standards as well. Is it costly to access this?
Well, I don't like to necessarily tell people what's costly or not, because what's costly for me might not be costly for them, and vice versa. But I think again, it's a government office, so I know you will definitely get a better rate than if you have to go internationally to get your products verified or certified.
And we meet international standards, because I know that there's been a lot of training, new equipment has been purchased. So
yes, correct.
The question at the very least is free, so call and ask the question.
Call and ask, yes, of course. That makes sense.
And just want to remind our listeners as well, it's 19 minutes before 12 o'clock, so time flies so well, at least according to my phone, they're saying 18. Time flies very quickly. You're listening to ZIZ Radio this morning. I'm Eboni Brandon, sitting in for Devon Cornelius. Very happy to be here. And my guest this morning is Dr. Marcus Natta. He's here officially he's here this morning in his position as co-chair of the National Independence Committee, and we were talking about Independence 42 this year and some of the activities stemming out of it, more broadly about some of the other things just happening in our country, because he wears many hats. He has worn many hats in the past, and so he has a great deal and wealth of information. We spoke about Aspire, we just spoke about Bureau of Standards and some of the things that agro-processors can do to get their products out there to the public in a safe way. We're speaking about a little bit about agriculture as well, and the progress that we're making there in terms of feeding ourselves and making sure that we as consumers make better choices and decisions. If you want to be a part of the conversation in these last few moments of the show, we absolutely invite you to do so. We welcome your calls, in fact, at 465-1977, 465-1903, or 662-8674. Dr. Natta, what are the next steps as we now get ready for independence? What are some of the messages that you want to send to the public at this very important time of the year?
Well, we spoke about patriotism and how it's more highlighted around September, for sure. So again, it's really just for persons to participate and come out and enjoy these activities. This is your country too. It's not just the Independence Committee's country, So let us all come and enjoy and celebrate the freedoms that we have that a lot of other countries in the world today do not have. We don't have any war and conflicts of any kind and so on. We have our little banters back and forth, politically and so on, but nothing ever resorts to the level of violence and so on that we see in other countries. So we truly are a blessed country, and it's about persons coming out and really just enjoying their country. I mean, simply just taking a drive around the country and viewing it and the beauty. Enjoy that.
And we want to welcome this caller to the line right now. Thank you so much for calling in, being a part of The Edge this morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm calling from, I'm away in New York, and I'm calling to make a comment. When I was growing up in St. Kitts, most of our food came from Nevis, Dominica, and whether you like to eat different food every day, you only could afford to buy the same food most of the time. And now you have more choices, then you don't want to make the sacrifice for your stomach. But when I grew up, I'm vibrant, I'm strong, I'm in my 70s, and I grew up eating fish like 5-6 days a week. And I enjoy it. So I disagree here where you can't do all different things. Yes, you do, but you don't have the money to buy it, you can't get it. That's my comment.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, Carla.
I think it's a very important contribution as well, because it speaks to the health.
Yes.
We sit down sometimes and we're like, old people never used to suffer from this and old people never used to suffer from that. But the truth is they ate very differently.
That's correct.
Than we
That's
do
correct.
now. They ate from the earth. They ate what they caught. And there weren't all these preservatives and additives and all these other things going on. So you are what you eat,
as
right?
I mentioned and the caller mentioned, and I think I said it a little earlier, it's choice. You can't force people. You can just continue to educate, provide alternatives, and there's no way that we're gonna just shut our ports and borders to products, but you just have to make the choices that are in your best interest, whether it's health-wise, pocket-wise, and so on. And I think that's what the caller is saying.
We have another caller on the line as well. Good morning, welcome.
Eboni, good morning.
Good morning.
From ABS to ZIZ.
I wasn't at ABS, but I get the point.
Yes. And to the Parliament Secretary and the co-chair of the Independence. Good morning.
Good morning too. Good morning.
Because I'm mentioned.
Welcome.
Yeah, but me live in Antigua for a good while with Eboni.
Mm-hmm.
With Eboni?
Yeah.
To meet you.
Yeah. Not really with her, but there.
I understand.
So let me get that correct.
We feel you.
Anyway, listen here.
Yes.
We want to thank the government of St. Kitts and the defense force. So come to Montserrat when we got our King's birthday parade. So now that I got our independence, will you all be inviting the Montserrat down to take part in the parade? That's my question.
Thank you for that question.
Okay, no problem. Until then.
My father come from Montserrat, so I have a little dabbling over in Montserrat too. So is Montserrat coming up? He wants to know.
Well,
maybe next year?
I don't know about this year. I can tell you for the parade, as I indicated earlier, the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force, which sits on our core planning committee for independence, they deal with that. They have been trying, and they do try each year to have contingents from other countries to come, and it has worked in the past. I haven't heard from them that there will be a contingent from Montserrat, but I'll wait and see. I'll inquire. I'll find out.
Oh, clearly there's interest.
Yes.
And we appreciate our callers. 2 callers from overseas this morning. We certainly appreciate you calling in. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you're listening and being a part of the program. We have someone else who is on the line with us as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Mr. Natta, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you, sir.
You know, I've been asking myself for a while. We've been hearing about sustainable development, but the major problem we have, it can't be sustainable without water. I'm living in Taylor's twice daily. The water go off in Taylor's. Twice daily. How can we be sustainable without that? I used to work at Washington Archibald High School, and early up in this year, before school closed, they had to suspend school because of the water shortage. That's one of the main things we're supposed to look at. We can't survive without water. That's all I want to say. I'm so glad for this program, so I could get to hear what I have to say about the sustainable problem and the water matter. Thank you very much.
And thank you for that call. I think you spoke to that earlier.
I spoke to it, but just for the caller, because he's on now, and I want to thank him for that call. And I would want to say I'm from that area. I'm not a resident of Taylor's, but from Newtown, and that I know a lot of the people in that area. And just to channel the Minister of who's with responsibility for water, the Honorable Conway Maynard, he has spoken about this a lot. I think he has, and the representative for the area has spoken to the residents there. But as much as they speak, I know it's not a good feeling for your water to go off twice, for it to go off unexpectedly, and so on. And that is something we are seriously dealing with. That's why we have just built a 2 million gallon per day desalination plant, right? And that is almost completed. Anybody can drive by, they can see. Actually, it's completed, but I think now they're doing testing of the water that they're getting through the process of desal to make sure it's potable and everything. I don't want to give the exact date, but I know the minister has said it's definitely before the end of this year, but it might be much sooner than that, that persons in Taylor's in particular will benefit from that so that they can have water 24/7. And that's a key component, like he said, of the Sustainable Island State agenda. And so for residents like that, for them to hear about sustainability and so on, and they don't have water, I know it's frustrating. Trust me. Water has gone off for me and all of us, and we know how we feel when we don't have water. So far less for persons who are in the Taylor's region, especially, who have water just a few hours a day. And so I want to tell the caller that our resolution is fast approaching. It's much closer than it is further away. And I hope that maybe in a subsequent program or time, he will be able to call in and say that he has 24/7 water, and he appreciates that has been solved.
And can't ask for a better answer than that. It is inconvenient in the moment. Yeah. It is discomfort that we all share at some point. It doesn't make it any easier for you when you're going through it. But
that's right.
It's good to know that something is being done, at least actively, to remedy the situation. We're in the last 10 minutes or so now, so I want to give you the floor just to add anything you'd like that perhaps we didn't have an opportunity to touch on as we round off the conversation.
Yeah, sure. One of the next, maybe I'll just touch on a couple events. We have a National Tree Planting Day that we do each year, and that's going to be Saturday, August 30th. That's next Saturday? Yeah, so not this Saturday, next Saturday. And that's led by both our Departments of Agriculture on Nevis and on St. Kitts. Each year, community groups get involved and they plant trees. Over the last few years, we've been having this discussion about food and so on. We're encouraging more so that persons plant food trees and fruit and so on, fruit trees. So that can help with us achieving this goal of reducing our food imports. So in the past, persons planted ornamental plants and so on. And you can still do that, but we do encourage you to plant some fruit-bearing trees, and hopefully the monkeys and so give them a little chance to grow and flourish. So that's on Saturday, August 30th, and that's throughout the islands of both St. Kitts and Nevis.
Are slips being given out? Or do you know if...
the Department of Agriculture usually provides all the slips for persons and assists with the planting as the case may be as well. And we get community groups involved. So in your own community, you can plant and, have a little ownership for that. So if you see somebody doing something, or you see an animal, you can
water it, take care of it, nurture it.
Right. And of course, in your own backyards, if you have a backyard or if you have space available, we encourage you to plant something, even if it's a herb. On that day, you plant it and you nurture it and utilize that as well. So we want to encourage that. And Nevis has a few interesting activities coming up. There should be a sports competition on September 6th, and on Sunday, September 7th, there should be a grill competition, a grill master competition, I understand. So I hope those events come off well. Persons in Nevis and even persons from St. Kitts can go down and experience that. One of the other things I want to mention is that on Friday, the 12th, which we indicated was one of the national colors days, yellow, that's also National Sneaker Day. And so, again, in trying to promote health and wellness, we always have a National Sneaker Day. We ask you to wear your sneakers. If you could walk to work on that day and leave the car, try to do that as well. And, you're wearing your sneakers, it should be nice and comfortable. Or if you have to drive, park a little further away.
Take the stroll.
And take the little stroll in your sneakers. But we encourage you to wear sneakers, and we encourage the business places, please be a little lenient, and allow persons to wear their sneakers as well. There's a new event that I wanted to share, and I don't want to not share that with you and with the listeners. Is a National Fruit Day. And this came to us from the Ministry of Health, who will be spearheading that, and so we'll get some more information out to the public on that. But that will be on the 15th of September, and they will, I believe they're encouraging you to eat fruits, and where you can grow fruits, and tell you about the benefits of fruits as well. So we want to encourage persons on that. One of the private events I want to highlight as well, not being biased or anything, is the Republic Bank 5 for Fun finals. And what they're endeavoring to do is those top primary schools and in cricket that we had both on St. Kitts and Nevis, they will have a little competition to see who ultimately will be the champion. They've had 5 for 5 over the past year or so, and so now they're bringing in those top schools to compete against each other. So we ask the public to go out and support these young people. And as you can tell, Eboni, from what we've discussed here today, we have a range of activities from young people, the not so young, the elderly. So there's something on the calendar for everybody.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm looking forward to, I think I'm going to come out to the night parade this year, because that's going to be, for me, that's going to be interesting. And I'll do the colors, and I'm going to find some cute sneakers.
And we also have an elocution contest for the primary school. So that's going to be excellent. And
when is that?
That will be, the finals are on October the 9th, but the preliminaries are on Friday 26th, I believe. Oh, Thursday, the 25th.
So that would be next week.
Thursday, the 25th September.
Oh, September. Yes, okay, yes. Fantastic.
And then we end with the Night of Dance on the 26th of October. So I know we've gone beyond September. But that just shows you how much we value, and like you say, our patriotism extends beyond even September.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Natta, it's been a pleasure speaking to you this morning, hearing more about what we have to look forward to for Independence 42. Yes. We invite the public certainly to ensure that they take part in the activities. They have already begun. They are ongoing. And listen, independence is something that our forefathers fought for. It's something that we need to appreciate in every moment of our lives. It was hard fought for, and we need to ensure that everything we do honors that on a daily basis. Independence is every day. Perpetual progress, a sustainable future in view. Independence 42. That is the theme we are rallying around for independence this year. And with that, we have come to the end of The Edge. Again, thanking Dr. Marcus Natta for coming to sit with us this morning, tell us about the independence activities, and he really took on much more than what we originally rolled out to talk about. Thanking our callers as well for participating in the program, and you, the listeners, for tuning in to ZIZ this morning to The Edge. I'm Eboni Brandon, thanking Devon Cornelius so much for giving me the opportunity to come and sit in for him today. Until next time, take care. The news is up next.